Hey, and welcome back to Touch News Media. Keke Jabbar, well known for her roles in Love and Marriage, sadly passed away. She was 42. The news of her death has shocked her fans all over social media, and everyone is in total shock. It is very sad and heartbreaking that Keke Jabbar passed away at just a tender age. She was such a great inspiration to many that loved her and cherished each and everything that she did.
Welcome to Reality Check. This is your first time.
Thank you. This is my first time.
Your first time. I had to come to you, girl. I had to come down to you.
Straight to the source.
Straight to the source, right? Because we've had Melody, we've had Latisha and Marceau, we've had Kimmy and Maurice, we have had Stormy, we have had Destiny. First time we're getting Keke. So thank you so much for welcoming us in so we could figure out what is happening this season. But before we even come to this season, because we were trying to get to you last season, Keke.
Really?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, wow.
We wanted to know what was going on last season because you came on the show. And of course, I'll just be honest with you. When you come on the show as Tisha's cousin, right? I think you guys favor, you know, you can definitely see the family resemblance. I'm like, how are cousins coming on and they're on opposite sides of the Latisha Melody, you know, disconnect. So let's talk about how you even got onto the cast, because before now you're an actual cast member, but before we saw you as a friend of the show, but you were not necessarily Tisha's friend. You were with Melody. So how did all that happen?
Well, actually, it was supposed to be that Melody and I were friends.
Okay.
You know, Melody, there's a huge misconception that I went onto the show with Melody to spite my cousin. That's not true.
Okay.
Melody and I actually met before she even knew Tisha. We met years and years ago because we were the same undergraduate major.
Okay.
And shoot, I'm sorry. He messed me up. I'm sorry, y'all. My son just came in. Melody and I were the same undergraduate major in college. In college. I'm sorry. Okay. It was her undergraduate major, my master's major in college. So while I was getting my master's in English education, she was also getting her undergrad degree in that. So that's how we became familiar with one another. Okay. And we share a common best friend. Okay. One of my previous colleagues who was an English professor with me is also best friends with Melody. Okay. So that's how she and I know each other. We've known each other since about 2007. Okay. So it's been over 10 years at this point. Okay. A lot of people, you know, have misconceptions about that because they look at it as, you know, well, Tisha and Melody are friends and Melody didn't know Keke. She just came and got Keke to pull her onto the show against her cousin. It was not like that at all. Okay. There had been talks about me coming onto the show even from the first season. Okay. But
with Melody, or because obviously you knew Tisha from way longer than Melody.
Yes.
Okay.
But it was with Melody the first season because I declined because there were some things going on with me and my cousin. I didn't want to come on TV making it look like we were against each other. Okay. So I said, no, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait until I think, you know, there's a better chemistry between Melody and Tisha, because I don't want to be caught up in the middle of their drama.
Now, the first season they were okay, right?
They were.
I'm gonna be honest with you, and I've been honest. I'm honest with everybody I talk to. Right, at first they were okay. Yeah. To me, and you can tell me what you think. The issue with Melody and Latisha is really not about Melody and Latisha. To me, it's about the way Melody handled her husband's indiscretions. Versus what she feels, how she feels Tisha is handling her marriage, right? And to me, that issue
I don't necessarily even know if the problem was that. I think that at first the problem started out because as Melody was dealing with her issues with her husband, Tisha as a friend couldn't understand to kind of back up and give her that space and don't take it personal when she's not as chummy as she was before.
Right, because that's a lot. We all know Melody went through.
Right.
I'm happy to see her on her way doing amazing now, but
Right.
Her husband acted a fool. So I'm sure that's very painful. And if you haven't been through that before, you really have no concept of what that pain is like.
That's true.
I can't even imagine what it would be like on a national television platform.
Yeah.
You know, on top of that.
Yeah.
So, right. But it just doesn't seem like the issues really were between the two of them, at least from my perspective.
Yeah, it wasn't at first. And then when the guys kind of butted heads and, you know, all these cheating allegations start being, going back and forth between the guys, then it was like the women kind of got involved.
Right.
And things just went downhill from there.
Right. Well, I appreciate you clearing up the background on you and Melody. Let's talk about you and Tisha, because you guys are cousins, first cousins, correct? You, like I said, the family resemblance is obvious.
Right.
What was your relationship like from being little girls? You're older than she is?
No, actually, she's 2 weeks older than I am.
She's 2 weeks. Okay, so you're around the same age. So that's
the same age.
We'll call it a wash. What was your relationship like growing up?
We did not have a relationship when I was growing up, and we kind of get into this on the show a little bit because I was not allowed to be around my father's side of the family when I was growing up. There was my grandparents had this, especially my grandfather had this stigma about people from low-income housing. And so because my father was from the projects, he would not allow me to go into that environment.
Okay.
So, and he didn't like the fact there was also a lot of tension already because my mom was a teenage mother.
Okay.
And she comes from a very prestigious, strict household. So it's she's not a preacher's daughter, but close enough.
Okay. So so you guys have fathers. How are you all cousins?
My father and her mother are sister brother.
Oh wow. Okay. So your mother's family had felt some kind of way about your father's family. So that's where the beginning probably of the dynamic started.
Absolutely.
Okay, that gives us a lot of clarity.
Yeah.
Okay, so growing up, you obviously knew of each other because it can't be that big in Huntsville, right?
Well, we're from Bessemer.
Okay.
Which is right outside of Birmingham. So, but it's not a really big city either. So I knew about my dad. I didn't necessarily know about any of my aunts or uncles or my cousins. I knew about one aunt specifically because she used to come and pick me up sometimes.
Okay.
But I didn't really know a lot about the rest of the family until I became a teenager. Okay. Like 13. And when I was 13, I said I wanted to know my family for myself because I always thought about them, wondered about them, And I reached out to my dad, and we built a relationship. And I started to have a relationship with Latisha.
Okay. So your dad and her mom, are they pretty close?
They were.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys are teenagers. What is it like when you get to college to where you both are obviously on your own? Because I would assume having a cousin that's 2 weeks, like the same age, and like I said, the family resemblance is clear, you know, both beautiful brown women. I can't imagine that not being a place where it's a person that at least, you should have something in common with, right?
Yeah, and I mean, we did have a lot of things in common, but one thing that we had in common was that we fought a lot.
Okay. What was the fighting for? What was the issue?
Oh my God, it was so many different things. It was Latisha's very sensitive. So she calls you out on she takes to heart every little thing that you do. So for me, it was, stop making problems that aren't there. Stop creating things. If I'm hanging with my friends and she feels like, well, you like your friends better than you like me, and I'm like, no, why? Because I'm hanging with them. That you have friends too. You hang with your friends. How is me hanging with my friends any different? And with her friends, I feel like she treat me different. From her friends. So we argue about that because she didn't put the demands and expectations on everybody else that she did me. Okay. So it's just a multitude of teenage issues.
Teenage girls.
Right. So many different issues.
Unfortunately, there hasn't been yet any details concerning her cause of death and funeral arrangements disclosed. In case there is anything posted about her cause of death and funeral arrangements, Touch News Media promises to keep you posted. Drop us your condolence messages in the comment section. Kindly keep the comments respectful. fans all over and all the people that loved her are dropping their condolence messages. Latisha posted on Instagram and requested for privacy in this difficult time. Huntsville and the entire world shall forever remember Keke for her goodness. Our thoughts goes out to her family and loved ones, and may her soul rest in eternity. Thank you for watching this video till this far, and please kindly subscribe and turn on the bells to Sectets Media so that you don't miss out on anything that we upload. I love you guys, and please keep safe. Bye bye.